Attention, all proud warriors. Have you ever considered joining Time Patrol?
Greetings, my rare hunters. It is I, MariK. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super deck profile. Today we've got another first place winning deck profile featuring our favorite hero from the series, Future Trunks. We went ahead and finally got around to building a deck focused around the Black Xenoverse Trunks, who, from what I can tell, has been widely regarded as the worst of the three black leaders. Honestly, I have to disagree. I actually like him a lot better than Mira. Bardock, it's debatable, or Masked Saiyan. We all know who he is. However, I really like the Trunks leader. I like his effect, and I like the fact that he revolves around red and blue. They give you a lot of different variances on how you can build the deck. I personally went with a black-blue variant. The blue, not just because of Sensu Bean and stuff like that, but because it actually fit the playstyle I wanted to use. His auto says, when this card attacks, place the top two cards of your deck in the drop area. If there's a red or blue card in your battle area or drop area, draw a card. His Awaken side, and yes, it is foil. That's one of the reasons I wanted to build this as soon as I pulled it from the case opening video. That actually hasn't gone up yet. He says, his active main says, once per turn, choose up to two cards from the top of your deck, place them in the drop area. When he attacks, draw a card. Then you may choose 5 cards from your drop area, send them to your warp, and if you do so, he gains 5,000 power and double strike. Now, what's really cool about him is if you have enough in your drop area, you can actually swing with him, activate his ability, give him the +5 and double strike, and then still have enough cards in your drop zone to overwhelm with. Really fucking cool. However, with this deck and with all these abilities, you really have to plan your moves out about 5 or 6 steps ahead, but it does pay off. I've managed to completely overwhelm opponents with this by planning that many moves ahead. We're going to place Trunks back here, right underneath himself. So starting off, we've got my favorite one-drop, Energy Boosted Majin Buu. He's blue, he gives you a draw, and even if with Trunks' ability, if you mill 2 black cards, you don't hit a blue card, because you have Energy Boosted Majin Buu on the field, you still get that draw from him. And getting to be able to draw on your first turn with your leader is absolutely amazing in this format. Next up, we ran 4 Majin Defier West Supreme Kai. Her having barrier, allowing her to stay on the field pretty much constantly, always guarantees that Trunks is going to get that draw from having the blue battle card on the field, and plus she counts as extra energy for his cards as well. It's really easy to take advantage of that with this particular deck. The first black card that we have in the deck is 2 Haru Haru Attacker Majin. She's got critical. When you play her, place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area, so you don't necessarily have to. But we main her because of her other auto, which says when you play this card, if your opponent's leader is green or yellow, choose up to 4 of your energy and switch into active mode. If my opponent has a red or blue leader, then this can be charged. It can just be discarded, comboed off, whatever. But if their leader is green or yellow, she's a free card, especially if you play her with Dark Plot. Next up, we ran 4 Power Aura Mira. I actually only have 2. I had to borrow the other 2 from another teammate from the God Squad. The cool thing about Power Aura Mira is I never actually overwhelm with him. You just cast him for 3 energy, and he keeps his permanent, which is when you have 3 or more cards in your warp, this card gains 5,000 power. If you have 5 or more, it gains an additional 5,000 power. And that's not just on your turn. So he's constantly, if you have 5 in there, he's a constant 25,000 for 3, which is really fucking good. And the fact that you can bring him back with abilities like Dark Plot or Killer Sword Trunks is just really fucking good. Then to round out some of our other blue attackers, we've got 4 Majin Defier South Supreme Kai. We've got him in there because he's a 3-drop with crit. His auto is especially handy against a good number of decks, especially early on in the game. And then, like I said, he's another blue card, so he'll either get charged for energy, or he can just be a card to attack with if we have nothing else to play with 3 energy. And one of the cards I was unsure of running in the deck that actually turned out to be really fucking useful was 2 Encroaching Threat Masked Saiyan. Now, normally he's a 4-drop, but his permanent says if you've sent 7 or more cards to your warp, reduce energy cost in hand and warp by 1. So making him either a 3-drop hard cast for 20,000, or you can get him back with cards like Killer Sword Trunks, which is really fucking dope. But my favorite part about him is he can attack battle cards in active mode. So, like for example, if they've got a Goku in active mode, they're waiting to evolve. Or if they've got a blocker they're waiting to use, you just attack that with Mass Saiyan. And using this card, I've actually managed to get rid of my opponent's blockers and push for like 3 triple strikes for game. Triple strikes? 3 double strikes for game. Then to round out our main hard-casting attackers, we've got 2 Piccolo the Strategist. This Piccolo is easily one of my favorite cards, especially for blue. And I think he's a lot better than the Beerus. He's got critical and barrier, so he's a good attacker, and he can't just be KO'd by, you know, all these random ass effects. Now he does have a limit on he can only destroy things equal to or less energy than your energy, but for the most part, that's not really a problem outside of stuff like Cell, for example, and maybe Majin Buu. But it's still a dope ability, and overall, I think him having crit and barrier is better than the 4-drop Beerus having double strike. Now the main focus of the deck is the Overrealm, especially with this particular leader. And what better Overrealm cards to run than more Trunks?
We're always on the lookout for powerful warriors.
We run 2 Quick Blade Trunks. Now all he does is you Overrealm for 2, and he's just 15,000 power. He has no other effects, but the fact that the leader mills off exactly 2 means you can just play him, get a free attack in. You can play him to evolve him into Killer Sword Trunks. He's just a really cool tech card in here. Really run 2 because I thought maybe 4 would be a bit too much. However, 4 is not too much when we're referring to Time Patrol Trunks. 4 of these, because you do Overrealm so much, you're milling constantly. It's a great effect. You basically you scry, you get to add a card. I mean, it's just so good getting to choose your next moves. And with the leader's ability, you can choose, hey, do I want to mill this card, or do I want to draw this card? Or, you know, you can decide what to do with that card depending on your next moves. Continuing down the Trunks line, we run 2 Trunks, Power Overseeing Time. Really dope for 2 energy. You can play him. He's got double strike, and then when you play him, you can choose a battle card in your hand and add it to your warp. There's no limit to the energy cost of any battle card, but 9 times out of 10, we probably just add the super combo. Then quite possibly my favorite card in the deck and the lineup, Killer Sword Trunks, featuring one of the coolest arts I've seen, and the starter foil is just fantastic. You Xeno Evolve him for 4, and my favorite thing about Xeno Evolve is that Xeno evolves them in active mode. So say you drop Trunks, Power Overseeing Time, add the card back, swing for double strike, Xeno Evolve, he's back in active mode for more double strike, add another card, and he's just so good. He brings a card 3 or less to the battle area, so you can bring your super combo back to be able to use it for, you know, his attack or one of your other attacks, or you can bring back another attacker to do more damage. You can even bring him out, Overrealm for one of the Trunks, Xeno Evolve into him after attacking, bring out Haru Attacker Majin, reset your energy, and then you've got a full board of energy to just play more shit and go ham. Honestly, I think Killer Sword Trunks is an extremely underrated card, and I think he's just really slept on. When it comes to support, the best card that we have in this deck is definitely Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. She's the super combo in the deck, but what's really cool about her is instead of it depending on you having 4 or less life, she says if there are 5 or more cards in your warp, draw a card, it gains 10,000 power. After turn 2, you're gonna have 5,000. You're gonna have 5 or more cards. So by your second turn, you are constantly able to use your super combos. Between Power Overseeing Time, between Killer Sword Trunks, you're easily gonna get 6 or 7 super combos in a game, and it's just so good to be able to constantly use her over and over again. We also run 4 Ultimate Jocko. The reason we run 4 of him, obviously he's blue. He's a good combo card. Offensively, he just gives you that extra push. But defensively, he gives you a power boost, takes away power from your opponent. And you can potentially bounce back a card to their hand that they can physically not use, like such as their +1 combo cards. Running blue, we're running 4 Sensu Bean. You already know what this card does. We're also using 4 Whis' Coercion, the best negate to run, especially for this deck. Yes, we could use the black one. And I could use, whatever energy, but Whis is basically free, resets an energy. So he's infinitely better right there anyways, and we aren't going to choose to discard 2 cards to get a negate back. Yes, it would help fuel for Overwhelm, but it's definitely not needed, especially with the leader's ability and the Haru's. It's just not worth it. The last 2 cards in the deck were a last-minute add, as was Haru, and it's 2 Dark Plot. And Dark Plot says choose a battle card in your Warp Energy 4 or less and play it. If it had Overwhelm, choose 3 of your energy and switch it to active mode. So basically you get out a battle card for 1 energy. And if you use it to get back Haru, then it's basically free. And just depending on what you use, you can really do almost anything with Dark Plot. As for the side deck, we ran 2 Mafuba. Just as an extra layer of defense if needed. We actually did end up needing this against the Ultra Instinct Goku we played round 2. That leader's pretty crazy. However, the fact that he just negates your ability to combo doesn't really do too much. We run 4 Whis in the deck. We've got the 2 Mafubas here to stop him. So, Ultra Instinct Goku is really not a threat. It's intimidating at first, but as long as you can just negate his attacks, there's nothing to worry about. And speaking of negating Ultra Instinct Goku, we side in 3 Shun Protector Majin. The fact that she's a 15k blocker that gains another 15k if your opponent's leader is red or blue, with all the Super Saiyan 3 Goku leaders running around, a 30k blocker is really dope, and you can even combo to power up even further to just guarantee she doesn't die. If we played against blue like we did with the Ultra Instinct player, we swapped out the Haru for the Shuns, and it just made so much of a difference. We actually ended up tying with that with the Ultra Instinct player round 2. Round 1, we got our first bye ever in a fucking tournament. So we got to kick back and watch everybody else beat each other up first, and then round 2, I lost game 1 against the Ultra Instinct player, and then I got game 2, and then we ended up going into time, and it ended up being a draw. So we both went into round 3 with 4 points, but that still put us in second and third place. Behind the 1 undefeated player. We also run 3 Awakened Warrior Bardock. I like Bardock. The card isn't great, I'm not gonna lie. You overwhelm him, gets a double strike. That's really not a big deal. What is a big deal is you overwhelm him and then immediately evolve him into Super Saiyan 3 Bardock Power Unleashed. Now, I ran 2. I was borrowing another one from one of the God Squad, and so I only have the 1. But we ran 3 and 2. I thought that was a decent number to be able to get the stuff out to play it. He would mainly be used against like Mecha Monkeys, since his ability doesn't target. It just says send all of your opponent's battle cards to their warp. So not only do they go to the warp instead of the drop zone to be used for overwhelm fodder or even to get back with other abilities, he just says get rid of all of them. And then on top of that, he has triple strike. So you swing with Awakened Warrior Bardock, deal double strike damage. Xeno evolve him into Super Saiyan 3. He wipes their board, swings for triple strike, which potentially is game right there. That's 5 damage, which is crazy. Decided in 3 Legic for really aggro decks in case we felt like we needed, a free blocker, or there's something in the deck that we really didn't need, and this would be a very easy card to swap in. We didn't really play anything aggro during that tournament. Ultra Instinct, it was kind of aggro, but it's not as quick as some other decks can be, especially as far as putting a lot of bodies on the board to put a lot of pressure on you. So we didn't end up using it. The last 2 cards were just kind of filler. Wasn't really sure what to put in, so we put 2 Encouraging Presence Manaka. It was another card for if we wanted to go a little extra aggressive with the leader, give the leader double strike, you know, before he awakens. Get that extra draw with Manaka as well. It gave us something we could play early on if we felt like we needed to push a little aggro. But like I said, we didn't end up using it either. Round 3, we actually had the better tie breaks than the Ultra Instinct player. So we ended up playing against the undefeated. He was running Golden Frieza, just the standard whatever deck that everybody played. A few months back. We ended up, game 1, he ended up taking me out. And then we went to side for game 2, and he had to go to work. So he ended up having to drop, giving me the win. I don't know how I would have done side decking against it. It would have been really interesting to see. Since I haven't really had a whole lot of time to play test with this. And while Golden Frieza is not nearly as bad as anything Mecha Frieza, it does still have a lot of negating and a lot of active energy that you can stop your opponent with, especially with stuff like Cold Bloodlust. But so he ended up dropping, and that secured us the 7 points to win. I believe second place also ended up with 7 points, but again, because of tie breaks, KTS ended up putting us in first place. The deck is definitely fun. I do love this leader. I think there's a lot of potential with him, and that's why I ran him in the first place. I did some playtesting after the tournament against some decks, and the deck really holds its own because you can put so much pressure on the board, especially by turn 4 with all the overwhelming, and once you start evolving and untapping and playing more cards and getting back your super combos and just being able to out-combo your opponent puts a lot more pressure on them than you would think with this leader.
Keeping these things in mind, please carry out your missions safely.
But anyway, that's going to be our Xeno Trunks deck profile. I know it's not exactly the best record standing compared to some of our other deck profiles, but I've had people that have requested this particular deck list because I said that I had built it and that I was going to play it. And I've also had other people tell me they want to see more than just whatever I get first place or second place with. So I'm being a little more lenient on the decks that I put up on my channel. Just as long as it runs well, as long as it's a lot of fun or something that nobody else plays. So, you know, by a few requests, I decided we'll go ahead and upload it anyways. It is a fun deck. It does have a lot of potential. It can go really aggro, but with all the card advantage you get, you can out-combo your opponent offensively and defensively, and I think that gives you a lot of variability with what you can and can't do with the deck and what you can actually hold your own against as well. I gotta say though, for a $5 entry fee and the fact that we ended up winning another mat, so now we have the Trunks mat, the Vegito mat, and the Ultra Instinct Goku mat, just that plus the prize support that we ended up pulling, a Frieza, a Bardock, a Brawly, and a foil Brawly, we easily made our money back like tenfold. Actually, not even tenfold, probably 20-fold, considering how much the Brawlies are going for and even the Bardock. But if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, hit that like button down below for us. You know, we appreciate the support. We appreciate all of our subscribers. Last I checked, we were at 257. The channel's growth has just been exponential. It's crazy. And personally, I just love it. I love how much you guys are loving all the Dragon Ball Super content. We've got more deck profiles coming soon. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the case opening video up. We've been having some issues with getting that one finished for uploading. But let me know in the comments below what you think. If you like the deck or if you think it has potential, try it out for yourself. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know any suggestions or any concerns you have with the deck, and I'll be more than happy to answer it in the comments. I've been trying my best to keep up with everybody that comments on things. The Majin Buu deck profile has been getting a lot of attention, and so I'm trying to keep up with all of that, as well as all the other comments on the other platforms I've been sharing it to as well. But we're going to go ahead and get the frig out of here now, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
We look forward to welcoming each of you to the Time Patrol.